mimosas. Yeah, it's gonna be bubbly.
So this is my family tree, just kind of, this is my grandparents, my mom's parents, my grandfather Charles, and my grandmother Emma, who I learned just about everything about cooking from. These are my, so that's my family tree, that's all, everybody that's connected to.
And that's who like inspires you to do this?
Every day. They are my inspiration. They're the reason I do this. I want them to know if you work hard and put your whole self into something, you'll have a great outcome.
Awesome. Thank you so much for hosting us.
No problem.
Kind of time. Join new friends to relax and unwind. The best food with drinks on the side. Cheers to the good times. It's friends and mimosas.
Cheers to friends and mimosas. Cheers. On your fan page, you describe your story, your journey, I guess we'll say, from millionaire to prison. I know it's in your book. Here's her book. I don't know if everyone.
So you're interested in the story?
Yeah.
Okay. So I owned a home health care agency from 1999 to 2005. I had one of the biggest regions, one of the biggest personal care agencies in the region. And my agency was closed for Medicaid fraud. Sitting in my office one day, I thought I heard something on the roof, and I said, what is going on? I know the building was kind of old. So all of a sudden I got up, I went to my social worker because it was right before my birthday. And I went to go ask her, we did a monthly newsletter. And I said, do you have something that you want to put in the newsletter? And I was just walking to her office. And when I looked up, it was a guy standing in the door. And he said, I'm looking for Akasia Lee. I said, that would be me. He said, well, I am special agent, whatever. And the special agent in charge is en route with a search warrant. He's getting it signed by the judge. He said, do you know why we're here? I said, no. So he said, well, if you want to, you can grab your things and you can have a seat up front and you can sit in your office, whichever is good for you. I said, well, I'm gonna sit in my office. So I sat down and I said, well, what in the hell is going on here? Well, the type of business that I had, the services were to be done in the home.
Right.
A lot of the employees, which were really doing good deeds, took the kids outside of the home, which is something that Medicaid did not pay for. Although the house may have been dilapidated,
Right.
They may not have had any food, and we're just gonna take them to McDonald's against the law. How did I feel about that? The guidelines that Medicaid set is the guidelines. But how did I feel about my clients? I didn't like it. So being a person with a servant's heart, I probably would have put them in my car and took them to McDonald's
Right.
too. But that's not what Medicaid paid for. So that's where some of the issues were. Some of the clients and some of my employees, they had this thing whereas you don't have to come, but I'll sign your paper. Did I know some of them were doing that? Absolutely. Some of them were my family. You know, if they had a child that needed the services and they could, you know, benefit from it, they did. Didn't provide the services in the home, took the kids out, or provided the services in the home but didn't provide it fully, and were receiving what the government stated was kickbacks. So they came in and they took everything that I had in my office, even the trash out of the garbage can. To find out down the line, they had a surveillance station set up at the hotel, which was directly across from my office. But I owned a club at the time. My family and I, we had a club, so they were ultimately watching the club as well, because they were looking to see the money that was coming from the club, was it being like, say, laundering, money laundering. Well, we knew money laundering wasn't the case,
Right.
But I mean, that's what they, you know, try to make it look like. But they did have a case. What was going on at my agency was wrong. So the agency was cited, it was closed. 4 years later, I was sentenced to 60 months in a federal prison, where I served about 48 months. which was
4
actually,
years.
4
of
years.
Having to wait.
yeah.
How was that?
So, I mean, actually,
But,
I feel like that was a turning point.
okay, because I was gonna say, in your book, you were always still the upbeat,
Yeah.
positive, you know, that had to
Because,
be.
I mean, at the end of the day, I had to do the time.
Right.
In order to move forward, why would I just stop? You know, the date that I was sentenced, I had never began to even start the journey that I have today that God had.
How were your kids?
My son at the time, he was 18 when I left. My daughter was 8 when I left. Outside of leaving my kids, I feel like that was a much needed vacation away from everything because I was the person that had everything. I was the person everybody relied on. There was nobody for me to rely on. So I feel like at the end of the day, this was God's way of showing me that when you think that you have all these friends, where are they to when you need them? So now you're gonna solely rely upon me. And that's basically what happened. I woke up in my jail cell one day and I said, God, you know, there has to be more to life than this. I'm being fed through a slot. My room was probably 4 by 6. Bed, hard as hell. And I said, there just has to be more to life than this. And he said, surrender. Surrender. So at that point, I just rolled out of my bunk and I threw my hands up and I said, God, I give everything to you. Because I tried it my way. And here I am. I'm in a jail cell. You talking about a millionaire, somebody telling me when you can call home, when you can eat, what you're gonna eat. I mean, I literally wrote my book on scratch paper that the guards would
Did
give
you write
me.
it while you were in?
I wrote it while I was in prison.
Oh, did you?
I spent 92 days in a SHU, which is a segregated housing unit. Nobody but me and God. And that was the turning point of my life.